Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For those new here, my name is Tiffany. I hope that everybody has survived this eclipse in Pisces. We have a solar eclipse in Virgo coming up, so this is really big ending and rebirth cycle. So hang in there. We are all in this together. And as I was meditating on the energies for the collective, I was actually seeing somebody playing in sand, and they pulled up like something from the sand and they were really excited about it. So I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to venture into new territories, or you're finding new things that make you excited and make you thrilled. And that's a beautiful thing to do. And I feel like a lot of fresh energy with this eclipse season, and I'm really leaning into the exploration. And something about Sagittarius season is coming up, and I think that there's going to be a really big cumulative shift happening for a lot of people, whether that is leaving jobs, moving, starting a family, whatever it may be. There's a lot swimming about towards the end of this year. I know that this year has been very intense, but also very transmuting. Like, we've been doing a lot of the work, and now I think we're starting to see the fruits of our labor, the changes coming from the actions that we took earlier in the year. So let's get started with the reading, shall we? We're going to pull from the Threads of Fate today. Spirit, what is going on for the collective? Underworld. Ooh, love this. Cool. All right, so something about diving into the shadow, diving into the depths, and really releasing the fear and releasing the bondage that, oh, cool, that you may be feeling. Because with the underworld, we have some barbed wire here. So where have you been feeling chained or restricted, or like you can't fully expand or express yourself? This is the time to start to dive deep and to allow that inner fire and that inner compass to guide you. And then we have love here. So if you guys have been having some stuff come up around interpersonal relationships, dynamics, things that you have been pushing to the side because it's uncomfortable, now's the time to dive deep and to really start to resolve things with people who you love. And I feel like this is really going to open up a whole doorway for a lot of people to understand their people more. And don't be afraid to ask questions that may be perceived as triggering. If it comes from a place of clarity and love and understanding, then take that as you're not doing harm. You are just wanting to understand the situation more. Because I think that we're really stepping into a time where we're starting to feel the connectedness with everybody even more, especially with all of these events that are happening around the world. The collective is starting to say we need to band together. We need to be of unity consciousness in order to really move forward. We are all needing to help one another. And I think we've been so wrapped up and chained in the ways that we have been brought up, or things that we have endured in the past. And now it's really time to dive down into the underworld and to come back up with a newfound understanding and light for what it is that we've been through. So we have the Zoom meeting. I have the Audacity deck here too. So I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to understand that where you're at in your work may be what is causing some hindrance, some stress, some constraint and refinement. Because you can see here in the Zoom meeting, she's having the Zoom meeting, but there's a whole fire behind her and she's being stabbed by these swords. So she's continuously enduring this situation, but she hates it. So where have you been where you know your energy is no longer there? Like, where are you on autopilot? And where can you make the shifts and changes and to really start to see things for what they are? And where can you pivot? There's a very big pivot energy with this. And because you're meant for so much more. You're meant for more than the confines that you have right now. And you have the star at the bottom of the deck here. So I feel like a lot of you guys have been dimming your light to make other people comfortable. So things may be going on within the workspace that you don't want to talk about, where you know that possibly if you say something, it will blow up to management or anything like that, or you just feel like the routine and the daily grind of what you're doing is not fulfilling you. And that is enough for you to make a shift and change. Don't wait for outside circumstances to tell you when to shift, because you'll be in places longer than you should. And I get it. We all have finances, we all have money, but this also comes with trusting that the things that you let go of that are not for you will be replaced with things that will bring you more joy. And that's a whole lesson in surrender. And if we move from a place of accepting these challenges and these changes, we're going to have a much easier time flowing with the energy. So we also have Skull of Light, illumination. So yeah, really illuminating the dark spaces of what isn't working and where can you put your light, put your energy to call in more aligned opportunities for you. And then we have Skull of Darkness, blind spots. Yep. So I think that you guys have been on autopilot, have been doing the daily grind because it makes you money. You know, you're comfortable, you're successful probably in what you do, but is it filling your soul? Is it giving you the love back? And I think Spirit's really asking a lot of us to make changes to where we are more authentic and we are more sovereign in ourselves, and to trust that we can build something new. We don't have to do things the ways that we used to do them, and we'll be rewarded by taking the risk, by taking the leap. And this is also about releasing old identities and old perspectives that probably helped us in the past, but we're no longer focusing so much on the past. Now we are moving into the present and the future, because all there is the present. Of course, you know, linear timelines, all of that stuff. But with us in our bodies, in our incarnation, we have to be present in order to create and manifest what it is that we want, because that requires us to be clear. I'm feeling a very like Queen of Swords, King of Swords energy, like a lot of swords energy. So I feel like you guys have been very much in your analytical mind, very left-brained, and now Spirit's like, all right, we need to shake it up. We need to throw some spontaneity in the mix. Can you go on a trip? Can you shake up your reality a little bit more so that you are feeling more fulfilled and that you're not on autopilot? I think that's going to be a really big challenge coming up here. So let's get some tarot, shall we? I'm going to pull 6. Spirit guides, what energies are here for the collective? So right off the bat, we have the 6 of Potions. Cool. We have the 9 of Needles in reversed. Love to see that. Knight of Needles. There's a lot of this air energy here. Needles are swords in a traditional tarot. All right. Ooh, cool. I love this. Okay, so we have Justice at the bottom of the deck here. And I really like this reading. So first of all, we have the Six of Potions, which is the Six of Cups, Nine of Needles, and we have the Knight of Needles. Cool. Okay. So I'm feeling like whatever it is, whatever things that were going on in the past with this Six of Potions, I think you are doing the work to really shed anything that felt unaligned for you, whether it was with people, relationships, anything like that. I think you're now in a place where you're able to do the work to come out of that and to clearly see where you can move forward. And with the Nine of Needles in reverse here, this is moving out of anxiety, making the choice and the action, taking the action to get out of this analysis paralysis, this victim mentality. And it takes a lot to do that, especially if you have been wronged, if there's been any sort of injustice happening. And I think you guys are relying on a lot of your gifts, and you are becoming more autonomous, and you're able to make decisions from a more realistic perspective instead of so much emotional. And we have the Sun, the Three of Presents, and the Three of Candles. So love this. You're moving towards your happiness, even if it looks different than where you are or different than other people's happiness. So by doing that, you are going to be really surrounded with new opportunities, new commitments, new ideas, because the Three of Presents is the Three of Pentacles in the traditional tarot, and it is where they are equally giving and taking. So this can be about community. I think you guys we're moving towards, like I said, a more unity consciousness. So we're moving forward with new ideas, and we're no longer stalled in a place of stagnancy. We're really moving towards taking the actions. We're taking the steps to really get out of a place of lack and feeling insignificant. And I love this because this feels very empowering. Like you have done the work to turn inwards and to realize, like, I am the narrator of this story. I am not giving my power away to other situations, other people that are just going to drain me and who are going to take away my life force. And that is a really amazing place to be. So I'm going to clarify, let's see, I'm going to clarify this Three of Candles. Where are you going? Where are you moving to? Drop it in the comments. Let me know what your new venture is, where you are taking your energy. So clarifying the Three of Candles, we have the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess. Very, very Piscean energy. Okay, so I think you're moving, with the Magician at the bottom of the deck. Love it. Yes. Okay, so you are really stepping into your witchy essence. You are realizing that you are the creator of your life. You are the creator of your magic. As above, so below, right? So the Three of Candles, I think you have a vision, you have an idea, and you have a feeling for what you want out of your life. And I think with the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Swords here, you're recognizing that this Eight of Swords has kept you in fear and in stagnancy. But now you're leaning into a more empowered state with the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups. And these two queens, the High Priestess is Piscean and the Queen of Cups is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So I think that you have really done some really deep emotional work, whether it is through therapy, it is this underworld, or whether it's through your own meditations, you are leaving behind this period of feeling bound, feeling like I can't move because of X, Y, and Z. Now you are fueling your energy into you and your actions. And I think you're going to start to recognize how much power you have. So, Spirit, can I get just a little bit more for this? What energies is the collective moving into? Ooh, okay. So some of you are releasing, there's the Queen of Needles. Ha, and she's reversed. So I think that you guys are stepping away from toxic energies that felt manipulative or felt like this situation was using your energy to gain. And I think you have seen enough. Perhaps you have already spoken your truth enough and things haven't changed. And now you're like, I'm just walking away. I'm accepting this truth for what it is. I know that this situation is not for my highest good, and that's enough for me to move away. So I think you guys are breaking up with commitments that are not in resonance with this High Priestess and with this Queen of Cups energy. You are leaving behind anything that doesn't feel aligned with your heart. And a lot of the times when we have done the work internally, our external world shifts and we start to see layers and we start to see veils on people. And utilizing that intuitive knowing. And the more that you lean into this, the easier it starts to feel, the more natural it starts to feel. And we're naturally rising as a collective into a more, higher 5D ascended consciousness. And this is going to be a lot more common for people to start feeling into. We're going to start to lean on our intuitive gifts, lean on our third eye and our hearts to feel into the resonance of other people and other situations, because the High Priestess knows you cannot get away with shit with the High Priestess. She will know. And because she has done so much work with herself, she trusts her higher vision to know when there's bullshit in the air. And I think you guys have seen something and you can't unsee it. And that has given you enough clarity to be like, I trust this, I've seen this, and I'm moving on to a more aligned, fulfilling experience. And I think by doing that, you're really going to start to meet new people who are more in alignment with you. So congratulations. That is a really big thing. And it's really hard, especially if you, at one point, this situation felt safe or was in a good spot. Now I think a lot of us are starting to recognize that there's going to be more pain the longer we hold on to the things that may feel comfortable, they may feel familiar, but they are not in resonance with who we are anymore. And that's a natural thing. Humans shift, we change, we evolve. And the more that we surrender to that, the more we surrender to the change, the easier time we're going to have. So, Ant, we have work, achievement, and success. Yeah, so a lot of you guys have been grinding, have been successful in your job, have been successful in what it is that you're doing. But I think like overall, you're really sinking deeper into yourself and noticing that maybe it's more than one area that needs to shift and change. When you do internal work in the heart space, when you start to see things clearly and start to shed, it begins to infiltrate other areas of the life. And when you start to release old patterns, it starts with the self. When you start to release old patterns first, you start to notice the patterns in other people. And if you have the communication and the conversation with them and things don't change or they're not willing to change, that is cue for you to be like, I'm moving on. I cannot hold this any longer. And I'm going to do the work that I came here to do. You can do what you want to do. It's releasing that control. So we also have haystack karma. You will reap what you have sown. So this could be relative to you. It could be relative to other people. And then we have fair man, dealing or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. Yeah. So I think a lot of you guys are doing a lot of shifting in both realms. We have clouds, temporary problems. Yeah. Remember that everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. And that also comes with life. And making the shifts and the changes are only going to help you be more fluid in who you are. We have presence. That's what I was saying in the beginning. We only have the present time. We only have the present moment. And I know it can be easy for us humans to really be here, there, everywhere, you know, thinking about kids, responsibilities, everything. But we also have to take time to receive and to be in a more tempered state. We have patience. And to allow things to come without forcing them to be. And I know that can be probably one of the hardest things because we all think we have control of everything, but that's not the reality of why we're here and why we're cultivating with spirit. And we have healing here. Yeah, so I think a lot of you guys are taking a pause to heal. You're being patient with yourself and you are being present with yourself to really start to shed and unveil things that you have been feeling for a long time, but maybe you haven't quite put a feeling or a word or didn't see it clearly. It's the blind spots. Now I think you're entering into an era where you are shifting your routine to be able to slow down, and we're getting into fall, and it's the perfect time to do that. And we have believe at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. So believe in this new chapter, believe in new expansive ideas, expansive opportunities, and take up on the things that you would normally say no to. Of course, you know, make sure that it's safe. But if there's something that you have been a little resistant to, that you feel you would benefit from, like, you know, exercising or taking a paint class or doing some sort of certification, whatever it is, know that by you taking those risks, what do you have to lose? Ask yourself that. Does the gain outweigh the loss? Does the gain outweigh the opportunity cost? You know, where can you take more risks? Where can you get out of your comfort zone, get out of the autopilot, and move into a more co-creative nature with spirit? So, all right, guys, tell me what you're doing. Tell me the new changes. Tell me the new things. Drop it in the comments, and please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope these messages are hitting and resonating. And I will see you on the other side. Blessed be. Bye.